Hello, 8th grade ELA students. We're talking about the word reservation, which is a multiple meaning word. In other words, it's one word that can mean many different things. So just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of the word date because my wife likes to use a lot of dates, which is a food item. It's kind of like a large raisin, and she puts them in the food processor and makes a lot of stuff. But normally when you hear the word date, you think about maybe two people going out on a date with each other. That's another example of a multiple meaning word. We're talking about reservation, and the first meaning that it can have is public land set aside for some special use. This past year, I drove across the country from Arizona to Massachusetts and back. And when we were driving across the country, we drove through some wetlands. And so these were lands that were reserved. It was a reservation. It was set aside so that plants and animals could thrive and people could not build homes or other properties there. The second meaning of the word reservation is an arrangement to have something held for one's use, as in a restaurant reservation. So if you really want to go out to that amazing restaurant, you might have to make a reservation. Maybe there's a video game coming out and you reserve it so that you can buy it when it comes out. Our third definition of reservation is a limiting condition, doubt, misgiving, as in having reservations about a big purchase. So maybe you're playing Fortnite and you're debating on whether or not to build your fort really, really tall or to make it a little bit smaller. And you're like, oh, I have reservations about making it too tall because if it gets shot down, I'll fall to the ground and I'll lose the game. Maybe you have to make a big decision. Should you spend your money on a car or should you just go out and buy a ton of candy? You might be a little bit reserved about buying the candy instead of the car or the car instead of the candy. I would just suggest saving your money. So if you have a big decision or something that you're nervous about doing, you might be reserved about doing it. You might have some doubts about whether or not you should do that. Those are the three definitions of reservation. When you go to the next folder in Schoology, you're going to be taking a quiz where you're going to be matching the definitions of reservation up with appropriate sentences. Thanks, guys.